Hey guys, and welcome to the Live Well Coaching live stream. This is Dr. Mike Roncesvalles. Man, I'm glad you guys are with me and you're joining me for just a moment where we can step back and talk a little bit about how you can live more free than you've ever lived before. That's really the goal of our time together tonight. It's actually the goal of a new challenge that we've got at Live Well Coaching that I hope you guys are all able to take part in. So tonight's just a little teaser. I'm going to give you some great information that can help you understand how to begin to sort of start the process of calming yourself down and just living in the kind of freedom that you've never known before. And then at the end of this 30, 45 minutes, I'm going to really challenge you. Try to motivate you to say, okay, what would happen if you spent 10 days going after this? What would happen if you spent 10 days saying, okay, I'm going to change just some really small things about my life that if I string those days together and those changes together, I can live in some lasting change. So that's what we're going to do. I'm really glad you're with me. I'm going to start with a question. All right. The question is connected to how stressful and how tightly wound we are as a culture. I think if you look around, man, it's easy to see we are living in a pressure cooker, right? I mean, everybody's wound so tight. You can't even drive to work in the morning. You can't walk through a mall or go to a coffee shop without running across somebody that's just like wired, right? And a lot of times us that's wired. So here's my question. When the heck did life get so tight? When did this start? Like, when did a change in plans become enough to just ruin people's day? When did we start rehearsing conversations that haven't even happened yet? When did we start feeling responsible for whether everybody was okay with us at all times? When did we just kind of feel like rest was something that we had to earn? That was a big one. When I wrote that, I was like, man, that's good. When did we start to act like rest is something we had to earn? And when did uncertainty become something we just literally felt like we had to eliminate? Most people don't intentionally decide, one day if everything goes right, if everything goes perfectly with my life, one day I'm going to be a rigid, controlling individual. I'm going to be as anal retentive as they make them. We never do that, right? It happens gradually. A preference becomes a rule, preparation becomes worry, responsibility becomes over responsibility, caring becomes carrying everybody's stuff and all their emotion, structure becomes rigidity, and eventually, in all of it, something we originally used to make ourselves feel safe, feel like everything was okay, feel like we were in control of everything, begins making our life so much smaller. And that's what our new 10-day Live Free Challenge is all about. It isn't about becoming irresponsible. It's not about throwing away structure. It's not about becoming a flower child and just be like, it's all good. Everything's fine. The house is burning down and I don't care. That's not what we're aiming for. It's about learning to recognize the difference between responsibility and control, the difference between stewardship and control. Responsibility and stewardship asks, what belongs to me? What do I own? Like, what's mine? Control asks, how can I make sure everything turns out exactly the way I want it to? And if you're watching this and you're like a lot of people that I interact with in the clinic, a lot of people that I are in my family, a lot of people, my friends and neighbors, you are one of those people. We are those people that are going to move heaven and earth to make sure everything is curated, everything is exactly the way we want it to be. And guys, I got to tell you, the difference between responsibility and control is paramount. And they are very, very, very different ways of living. So here's the thing. Control is very normal for a lot of us in our culture. I mean, we live in a world where we have more control than any other generation in human history, right? Control works It makes us feel happy. It makes us feel settled. It makes us feel less anxious. And that's why it's so difficult to give up. But I'm here to tell you, the thing that works initially in our life is the thing that will ultimately fail us. Control works, but it only works temporarily, right? You feel anxious about something, so you check, right? Your anxiety goes down. You feel uncertain, you seek reassurance. Anxiety goes down. You think somebody's upset with you, so you explain and you reassure them and everything's okay. Anxiety goes down. You're afraid something might go wrong, so you avoid it. Again, anxiety goes down. But here's the thing. All along the way, your brain is learning something. Your brain says, essentially, man, thank goodness we controlled that. Thank goodness that works. So the next time you feel uncomfortable, your brain wants more. That's human nature. It's how we're wired, right? That's how life slowly gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And I want you to consider a challenging question tonight. What if some of the things that you call your personality are actually strategies you've developed simply to avoid uncertainty? Mike, that's just how I'm wired. My mom was like that. My dad was like that. It's just me. What if it's not any of that? What if these strategies are the things that you've developed to try to control all the things that feel uncertain? I'm just a planner. That's just me. Maybe. Okay. I just like things done correctly. I just like them done just so. Okay. Maybe. I don't like disappointing people. Okay. Gotcha. But here's the test. What happens inside of you when you can't do those things? When you can't be a planner? When you can't ensure you're not disappointing someone? When you can't get it done exactly right every time? Probably, if your brain has started to expect this, those are the moments where you're stressing out big time. So, consider this. Can somebody misunderstand you and you remain grounded, like okay? Can you make a good decision without knowing it's a perfect decision? Can you let somebody you love make a choice that you wouldn't make? Oh, I got you on that one, didn't I? Can you make someone you love make a really poor choice without freaking out? Can you leave something unfinished and still feel like you're at rest? Guys, your answer to these questions tell us something really important, right? I want to give you an object lesson that will help illustrate this point pretty well. I want to give you this vision of an enormous, beautiful field. Okay, just picture this. Close your eyes. Let's go ahead and do it well. Just close your eyes. Picture this beautiful, massive field. All right, there's room everywhere. But right in the middle of that field, something frightening happens. So you build a fence around yourself. Okay? It's like, I'm going to protect myself. It makes sense. You want to feel safe. Then somebody hurts you. Something else happens. And you move that fence inward, right? I won't trust people quite as much. That's okay. Then you make a bad decision. That fence moves in a little bit more, right? Next time I'm going to be absolutely sure. I don't want to be the guy that makes bad decisions. I can't stand the way that feels. Then someone gets upset with you. The fence moves inward more. I need to keep everybody happy. Then something unexpected happens. Then what happens? The fence moves in more, right? I need to make sure that never happens again. Every moment that you're dealing with your life, every movement of that fence in the moment makes sense. You're protecting yourself. That's what that boundary is about. But imagine you're doing that for 20 or 30 years. Think about it. Eventually, you look around and you succeeded, right? You're incredibly safe, but your whole world is like 6 feet wide. And that's what fear-driven control can do. It doesn't necessarily destroy your life. I mean, there's some reality that fear-driven control actually does keep you safer. But it quietly reduces the size of your life. It reduces the size of the world that you live in. And metaphorically, some of you have gone from this giant field, this massive world that God has given us. And you've built so many boundaries and so many rules and so many containers and so many things to keep you safe that your world is just super small right now. And this whole Live Free challenge is about moving that fence backwards. Not recklessly, not irresponsibly, not in a way where things go bad and things go wrong and you're messed up and the people around you are hurting. Not that. Just one small act of courage at a time, minute by minute, moment by moment, choosing to do the healthy things. All right. So let's make this personal. All right. I want you to think about 5 areas. First, I want you to think about other people. Can you think about other people for a minute? How much energy do you spend managing other people's opinion of you? How much time do you spend managing other people's moods? How much time do you spend managing other people's reaction, other people's choices? Think about it. You might even want to get a piece of paper real quick. I know your phone's right there. Open a note. You're probably watching this on your phone. That's cool. Open a note. Start to write some of this down. How much energy do you spend managing people? Second, certainty. How difficult is it for you to simply just not know? Just not know what's coming next. Not know what the other person's going to say. Not know what the future holds. How hard is that for you? Number 3, plans. How disrupted do you become when things don't happen the way you expected? How dysregulated do you get when something happens and it's not according to plan and it's not what should have happened? And how many people pay the bill for how uncomfortable you get if everybody's not reading from your script, if everybody's not playing by the rules that you've created for that day or that event? I'm hitting home right now. I know. I got you. I get this, right? Number 4, emotions. How quickly do you try to eliminate anxiety, guilt, disappointment, anger, sadness, shame, boredom? How comfortable are you actually feeling stuff that's uncomfortable? And 5th, expectations. How many invisible shoulds and musts and have tos govern your life? All right, I'm going to repeat that back for you. Okay, so I want you guys to just understand this and hear me. First, other people. Second, certainty. Third, plans. Fourth, emotions. And 5th, expectations. Now, out of those 5, I just kind of want you to think, what areas hit you the hardest? What areas would you say, man, of everything, Mike, man, it's plans. I hate it when things don't go as planned. Or Mike, of all of it, it's other people I can't freaking stand when I can't control them or what comes next. And instead of beating yourself up now, Instead of asking, why am I like that? My wife's been saying I'm like that for years. My husband tells me I'm controlling all the time. Don't do that. Don't beat yourself up. Ask a way better question. You ready? What is all that costing you? What is all that desire for everything to be just right? What does it actually cost you in your life? Is it costing you peace? The answer to that is yes, by the way. If you struggle with any of those 5 things, the answer is yes. It's costing you peace. Is it costing you sleep? Has it cost you relationships? Think about that. Be honest with yourself. Has it cost you opportunities? Has it cost you spontaneity? How much time do you spend trying to control all these things? And how much joy has this robbed from your life? Because here's one of the central ideas I want you to remember tonight. If you remember anything, remember this. If the strategy you're using to feel safe is making your life smaller, eventually, at some point, you need to question the strategy, period. You've got this whole world in front of you. This big, wide world. Have you built fences, expectations, plans, the desire to control other people? Just that all of these pieces that make your life really, really small. And how many of you feel like you're just caught right now in a 6-foot fence? Because if that's you, I've got the strategies for you. I have the principles that will allow you to make your life bigger. And I want to ask you again, if the strategies that you're using to feel safe is making your life small, eventually, shouldn't you question the strategy? It's cost a lot, guys. It's cost you a lot. Are you ready for more? Are you ready for a different life? Are you ready to just start to feel free? Are you ready to kind of get some breezy things happening in your life? Are you ready to let go of other people and their expectations? Are you ready to let go of your expectations? Are you ready to just be able to live your life without having to have everything perfect, everything perfectly planned? If you are, this challenge is for you. Don't have to live like that any longer. Corrie ten Boom understood this at a level that most of us hopefully never will. Corrie was a Dutch Christian whose family helped hide Jewish people from the Nazis. A lot of you have heard this story before. And she was eventually arrested and sent to a concentration camp. It's just kind of hard to believe some of the traumas that people have gone through. I find it just wild that someone would go through that. You're trying to keep people safe from literally being murdered, and your reward for that is you're put in a concentration camp and risk death. It's wild. Of everybody watching this live stream right now, Corrie ten Boom, man, she knew genuine fear. She knew suffering. She understood uncertainty. She understood loss at a level I don't. And my hunch is you don't understand it at that level either. But one of the lessons that shaped her actually came from her childhood. As a little girl, Corrie was afraid of death. Her father reminded her of their train journeys, and he asked her, Corrie, when we take the train, when do I give you your ticket? And she realized he didn't give it to her weeks beforehand. He gave it to her when it was time to board. Corrie ten Boom, the person that went through all of the trauma that she went through in her life, learned one of the most important lessons of her entire life as just a little kid when she was fearing death. And that lesson was simple. When we actually need strength for something difficult, God will give us what we need at that time. Just like her dad gave her the ticket for the train when they were ready to board. Think about how often we demand tomorrow's strength today. Think about how often you want to feel capable, ready, strong, like I've got this today. Not when the crisis comes, not when you need to respond, at all times. We imagine a future conversation. I do it all the time. I replay conversations in my head. What if this happens? And if he says that, then I'll say this. And if she says this, then I'll respond in this way. And as we do that, we answer, or we ask the question, how am I going to handle that? What am I going to do? A lot of people struggle with this in regard to death. We imagine, like, what if something happens to my spouse? What if something happens to my kids? Oh my gosh, man, as a parent, don't we do that? How would I survive? And we run through. I had a lady I did therapy with years ago, it's 25 years ago, up in Atlanta. And she had small kids, and she told me, Mike, I have written the eulogy that I will provide at the funeral of my child. And I was like, wait, is your kid sick? Like what's going on? Why would you do that? And she's like, no, it's just, I don't want to be surprised by how painful that will be. So I've just leaned into it, and I have literally imagined how I would get up in front of the crowd of people that would come for my child's funeral and what I would say. You talk about control, man. You talk about a fence that had just made her life so small. We imagine something happening to our children, our health, our finances, our careers, and suddenly our present day nervous system is trying to emotionally survive an imaginary future. And there's no wonder that we are absolutely, completely exhausted. Like, just as a culture, as a people, we're exhausted because we're fighting battles that haven't even happened yet and that might never happen. And we're answering questions that no one has asked. And we're trying to metaphorically obtain tomorrow's train ticket today. And maybe one of the most freeing things we can do is just learn to say, man, if that moment comes, I'll meet that moment then. I'll deal with it then. And Jesus said something remarkably similar when he told us not to worry about tomorrow because tomorrow has enough trouble of its own. You remember that verse? It's pretty good. That doesn't mean don't prepare. That doesn't mean don't think. That doesn't mean just haphazardly, impulsively go through life. It does mean I don't have to borrow tomorrow's fear today. I can live right here, right now. So what are we moving for, guys? And what are we moving towards in all of this? Freedom. That's what we're moving towards, is freedom. Freedom that might sound like this. Someone's disappointed in me, and you know what? Freaking okay. I'm fine. I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't need to know yet. I'll be fine. The plan changed. Guess what? We're going to figure it out. We're going to be fine. I'm anxious, but I don't have to eliminate my anxiety before I live my life. I'm going to be fine. They misunderstood me. They don't get me. They don't hear me. And I don't have to write a 14-paragraph text explaining myself ever again. I can say no without spending the next 6 hours feeling guilty. Guys, I have a friend, she's a dear friend, and she cracks me up because, I mean, the house can be burning down. It can be just a mess. Like, what in the world is happening? And her response, if I've heard her say this one time, I've heard her say this 100 times. She always says, oh, this is happening and this is happening. And, oh my gosh, this. And sometimes it's been pretty tough stuff. And she always says, but you know what? It's going to be fine. You know what? It's going to be okay. And the way I interpret that is, you know what? God's got this. You know what? I can surrender outcomes. You know what? I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. And that, my friends, is freedom. Because freedom is not getting life to cooperate with you. Freedom is discovering that you can remain grounded, regulated, hopeful, and peaceful even when it doesn't. Is that good or what, man? Freedom isn't getting life to cooperate with you. A lot of you spend your life trying to get life to cooperate with you. Controlling outcomes, controlling people, feeling disappointed, dealing with negative emotion, dealing with all the uncertainty, freaking out about it, stressing out about it. But that is the opposite of freedom. Freedom is metaphorically acting just like my friend and just saying, you know what, it's fine. It's fine. I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. It's discovering that you can remain grounded, that you can remain regulated, even when you can't control what life throws at you, even when you don't know what's coming next. That is true freedom. That's why I want you guys to complete the Live Free Challenge. I know I can't crawl through the internet right now and sign you up, but man, I hope that everybody watching this live stream is willing to say, Mike, I'm in. I'm going to go for it. I want to live in freedom. I want to live free. Because, guys, talking about this tonight, getting inspired by my friend and just saying, man, it's cool that somebody can just say it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. That's awesome. I hope this 30 minutes is fun and inspiring and motivational, right? I get that. But we can't just watch a 30-minute live stream and say, okay, I'm going to live in freedom. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. That's not how this works, guys. You have to practice this. You have to practice this. How many things do you enjoy in your life that have come easily? How many times have you taken up a hobby or a sport or an activity and just natively, organically been amazing? Anything worth your time and effort is going to require practice. It's going to require effort. You can't just be here tonight with me and just get inspired. Be like, that was great. You have to commit to practice it. There are strategies and skills and perspectives that you need to adopt if you're ever going to live in freedom, if you're ever going to live free. And over 10 days, over the next 10 days, we're going to learn to notice where our life has become too tight. We're going to notice where our life has become so small. And we're going to question the stories our mind tells us. And we're going to release responsibilities that don't belong to us anyways. And I'm going to challenge you to accept realities you can't change and establish healthier boundaries and become more flexible. Man, people are going to love it if you complete this 10-day challenge. Some of you need to text the link to Live Well Coaching to a friend and say, you should complete this challenge, please, because it'll make my life easier. Some of you need to install our app on your spouse's phone so they can complete the challenge. I'm telling you. Because as we begin together just to release all the expectations and release all the control, what we're going to do is choose values over fear. And we're going to make room for joy again. And some of you, there's nothing you need more than a little joy in your life. You've lost it. You no longer have it. And I'm here to tell you, will a 10-day challenge change everything? No. Will it put you on the track? Will it put you on a path that could change everything? Yeah, it absolutely can. I'm asking you to give me 10 days. And I know some of you are already thinking, I'll do it later. They probably archive this, and I'll do it when things settle down. I'll do it, once the kids are really back to school, or I'll do it once, I get through the fall. No. I don't want you to start. Get back to your life and not have the opportunity to just fall in to this process, right? I want you to start now. I want you to start when you know, okay, I might not have enough time to do this correctly. That's okay. I'm going to start and I'm going to miss a day. Okay, that's fine. No problem. That's the very thing we're working on, right? The perfectionism, the rigidity, the need to do everything correctly has got to go. We got to be done with that. So let this be your first exercise. Let this be your first effort to say, okay, I'm going in on a desire to just live in freedom. Don't do this challenge perfectly. I dare you. Just do it. Just do the challenge. Miss a day, come back. Get behind, continue. All right. So, before we finish tonight, I want you to identify one place where your fence has moved inward. I asked you to consider this a few minutes ago, but I really want you to drill down now. What's the one area you're going to say, okay, my life is really small here. I'm so confined. I'm so just hemmed in my own expectations. And maybe it's, you're afraid of disappointing people. And maybe it's you're afraid of uncertainty about the future. And maybe you're carrying everybody else's emotions. And maybe you're carrying fear about what happens tomorrow. And maybe you're carrying a conversation that hasn't happened yet. Maybe you're simply just exhausted from managing and fixing and anticipating and controlling. Pick one thing and say, what if over the next 10 days, I just put one or two things down? Not everything, just one thing at a time. What if I just let go of one small piece, and you let somebody disagree with you and you say no, and you experience the discomfort and you live through it, and a plan changes and you wake up the next day and you're still breathing oxygen, right? What if you could take one step towards something that matters, even though fear comes with you? 10 days from now, I don't expect you to be fearless. 10 days from now, I'm 1,000% convinced you're not going to be fearless. But I hope something has changed. I hope there's one person you're no longer trying to manage. I hope there's one feeling you're willing to feel. I hope there's one thing you're willing to just do, even if you're afraid. And one part of your life where joy has just returned. I hope your fence gets bigger. There's a verse in the Bible. It's in a book called Galatians that says this: "For freedom, Christ has set us free." If you change the grammar a little bit, it says, Christ has set us free for freedom, to live in freedom. Faith ultimately requires your hands just to be open, right? There are things I can control, there are things I can influence, and there are things I literally have to entrust to a God that's bigger than me. The wisdom that we need to develop is learning to know the difference. Learning to know, here are the things I can control, and here are the things I just need to once and for all surrender. Like I'm done. And for the next 10 days, I'm willing to practice living with less control, more courage, and greater freedom. Not perfectly, not correctly, not on spot every time, but just consistently taking risks and living in a freedom that you've never known. All right. You're going to do it. You're going to live free. There's a bunch of people on the Live Well coaching platform. We're all going to be doing this together. It started today, right? So your first drop is there waiting for you right now. You can go to livewell-coaching.com. You can sign up for the challenge. It's free. And you can start that today. And then every day for the next 10 days, we're going to give you one small thing you can do differently to begin to actually live in freedom. You doing it with me? You willing to give it a try? You willing to give me 10 minutes a day to maybe change everything? I hope so, man. Hope you do it with me. I'm going to be a fan of you. Our whole Live Well coaching community, I promise, is going to be a fan of yours. And we're going to do it together. All right? So guys, let's do the Live Free Challenge. And let's make the decision to live free together. All right. livewell-coaching.com is the website. livewell-coaching.com. You can sign up for free. You can start that challenge today. All right, guys. Hope you all have a great night. Thanks for giving me a second, just a few minutes here to speak into your life. I'll see you ASAP on the Live Free Challenge. Talk soon. See ya.